All right, Nate.
Yes, sir.
Nate, where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis. Tell me about your family growing up. You had mom and dad?
Yes, I had a mom and dad. Mom was a very lovely, kind woman, and my dad was abusive, and he wasn't very nice, you know. He didn't know how to raise kids because his dad was very abusive to him, and so he followed his suit, you know. He didn't know any better than raising his kids. So he was not in our lives very much. He didn't know what to do. And so it was hard to grow up without a father. So my mom and grandma tried to raise me the best of the way we could. And, you know, it was very hard to prevail from that. But I did the best I could and loved my mom, you know, and tried to do everything I could to help her while I was growing up because I knew how hard it was.
How do you think not having a dad in your life impacted you?
It impacted me very hard to be a man. To, you know, to grow up and take care of things I needed to do, like get a job or, you know, how to take care of situations that most people, you know, would know how to take care of. I didn't know how to take care of. I knew how to run, you know, how to pack my bags and run away, which is very sad, you know, because who wants to always run away from your problems? And so my mom, you know, she did the best she could, but, you know, the father figure out your life. What are you supposed to do? You know, in certain situations, you know, you're supposed to be taught when you're a young kid. You don't know about it. You don't know what to do. You just freeze up or you run away.
A young man learns by watching his dad do things.
Exactly. And so I didn't have that. I just had a mom that worked 12-hour shifts 7 days a week. And so I had to raise myself, or my brother in a way, but my brother, you know, wasn't a very kind person. He did not have very good intentions. He had malicious intentions towards me, because he didn't know any better either. He was 5 years older than me, and he had, you know, he was not a very very nice person. He would make me do things that I didn't want to do, and so he would take advantage of that, and take advantage of the situations to manipulate me, and get what he wanted.
Sexual things?
Yes, he was very sexually abusive. He made me do things I didn't want to do. What am I going to do? You know, I didn't know any better. I thought it was the right thing to do because I didn't have a father to tell me, oh, that's not good, you know, that's not bad. Mom's at work, but what's she going to do? How does she know? I bottled it up and hid it. I was like, okay, what if I do this? He's telling me if I do these things, everything's going to be okay, you know? Like, you just do this and I promise you everything else, you know, will fall into place, I promise you. And he lied to me, you know? He made me do things that I did not want to do, and it really, really messed up my head. When it come to find out I had done those things, and I possibly will be judged by those things, by others. And others may not like me or want me around because of what happened. That really hurt. That really took a toll on my younger life because I grew up hiding behind a curtain because I didn't want anybody knowing that. It's like, man, you were raped. You did things for your brother sexually. That you're weird, or you're the kind of person I don't want to be around. That's always the vibe I got. So what am I going to do? I'm going to hide. I'm going to pack up and run. So I grew up in my younger life thinking I was different. I didn't belong. I didn't want to belong because everybody else didn't go through the same things I went through. So how am I supposed to fit in place, you know? How am I supposed to fit in a group of friends that, you know, are accepting about that stuff? You know, I didn't fit. I didn't want to fit because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to live my life. I didn't know how to do things by myself. I would always be like, what if, you know, what if this, what if that? And that really impacted me in growing up to be the man I am. I consider myself a man, but when I was younger, I didn't even think I was going to be a man. I thought I was, you know, a weirdo because of the things I allowed my brother to do to me and take advantage of me the way he did. And that really, really fucked me up in the head. That really messed me up. And I never had friends growing up because of this. I never wanted friends because I didn't want them to know. And I didn't want them to, you know, be my friend, and then all of a sudden they're not my friend anymore because they found out this weird thing that happened to me, and I'm different from them. and I don't know how to be alone.
Were you doing sexual things with other?
No, it was
People.
just my brother. He really took advantage of that every other day, every week for a year or 2 years probably. From when I was like 9 to 11 years old, he sexually took advantage of me every day, every week. Whenever he wanted to do what he wanted to do, I thought it was okay. He would tell me, it's okay, you're my brother. Like, we do these kinds of things for each other. I promise I'll take care of you. Nobody cares what you're doing right now. And so he really manipulated me into thinking and believing things that were absolutely not true. He really, really put my brain on a bad path. That really fucked me up, man. I really had to deal with that my whole life. I still deal with it today. Just to think about it, like, what if I hadn't done that? Would I have friends today, Would I be the drug addict that I am today? Or would I have done something with myself other than, run away from my problems?
When did drug use start for you?
13, my brother introduced me to heroin. He shot me up for the first time in the arm with heroin. And then pretty much started to get high every day after that. And then about 14, 15, I was introduced to crystal methamphetamine by one of my friends. And I loved it. I loved them both together because they allowed me to come into the world for who I am. I was able to walk the street with my head up because all my problems were medicated. They were masked by a drug. And it's the way of life I love because I didn't have to deal with the bullshit thinking anymore. It put the monster at bay. I tamed the monster finally with my problems with heroin and crystal. I loved getting high. I was like, man, I feel normal. I feel 100%. I feel, like I can be accepted by people. And it really didn't do anything but, cause me to have 1,000 other problems. And it really threw me down the rabbit hole. I jumped down the rabbit hole quick. My mom didn't know I was using drugs. My grandma didn't know I was using drugs. I was going to school, under the influence. I was nodding out in class. I was not doing my education right, I wasn't doing anything right. All I knew was that I wanted to get high because I knew that would help me put my pillow on the head at night and go to sleep, thinking I'm normal again. And so my heroin addiction grew very, very big and very bad real quick. And my crystal meth addiction was even worse because it caused me to not only, start to become who I was, but also it caused me to become a monster. I started to steal from my family. I started to lie. I started to manipulate. I learned how to do things I didn't know how to do before to get away with easy money and easy things. But I didn't know who I was hurting in the end, who I was, affecting. I was burning bridges, One day I deeply regret saying this, but hopefully my grandpa will truly understand I'm sorry one day. I walked in their bedroom. They had an antique booth where they sold antiques. It was the best month they had all year. And I took $1,000 from them. And that really hurt them. I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, it's $1,000, I'm gonna take it. That cut them short on the bills. That cut them short on a lot of things that month. And they didn't have me arrested, but they had to draw the line though, because I wouldn't admit it. I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, that wasn't me, that was my brother, or vice versa. And they'd be like, Nathaniel, you're the only one in the house. Like, who else could have done it? So that one really took a toll on our relationships with my grandpa and grandma, but she's now passed, may her soul rest in peace. But my addiction, it really messed with my family. It really stressed them out. I could see the effect it had on my family. I could see my grandma getting older and older, more and more stressed out. Like, I could see her just getting older every day. The more the drug use went on, especially with my brother. He was using drugs too, and my cousins were using drugs. Everybody in my family, we were the outcasts. We were the black sheeps because they didn't know what drugs were before we came along. Like, we pretty much started that whole, that circus. And I say circus because it's a merry-go-round. You go round and round and round. And if you don't want to stop or don't want to, know a different way of life, you won't. And that's what I got into. I got stuck on going around in a circle, okay with it, okay with slowly losing everything in my life, slowly, burning all my bridges with my family, slowly, becoming somebody I didn't want to become, a monster. And I say that because of my addiction. I know I'm a monster, and I know what I will do to get my drugs, and I know who I will hurt in the process, and I know I'm okay with that. That is a very, very messed up and fucked up individual. To know you're going to do all these things in the process of getting your drugs, and you're still willing to have that effect on your family or friends, or people in your life. That is not okay. That is not something, I had thought was wrong. I thought, okay, cool. I can get kicked out. I can go be by myself now. I can go do drugs by myself. I can, get a job or this or that or that, and feel my addiction. But I didn't know I was sick at the time. I didn't know what I was dealing with or what I was becoming. I just knew that I could use this drug and it would make everything okay. It made me nice and warm and tingly on the inside, and everything was okay. I could deal with the world. And that led me to do some really stupid things, and like stealing, lying, and just being, straight out a bad liar, like.
How do you make money now?
I boost. I'm a booster. I steal. I'm a bad person. I'm not a bad person. I'm a sick person.
And your drug now is fentanyl and...
Fentanyl and crack cocaine.
Crack.
And
crack works better for you than crystal meth?
Yeah. I was shooting 5 grams of crystal a day. I had no more veins. I couldn't do it anymore. And I don't know how to stop. I've been to rehab 35 times. 80% of them completed. And I'm still out here on Skid Row. Not changing, not doing anything. Working my way up to prison, institution, or even possibly death. Because that's what awaits me if I keep going. And I need help. I'm 100% willing to admit I am powerless and I need help. But at what point am I willing to change? What point?
What do you think would help your situation?
I need to be my bottom. I think I'm in my bottom, but I think I need to finally let go. I need to be like...
You're on Skid Row. You got to be close.
I'm close. I've been here almost a year. I've got a good year out of it.
Where do you stay?
I stay right here on 7th and Stanford, or I sleep out in front of the Cloud Smoke Shop on 6th and 6th Maple. I don't have a tent anymore. I don't have anything. I don't have housing. I don't have none of that. I just have my drugs and my clothes on my back. And unfortunately, that is very, very not okay. It's very wrong.
What's your biggest fear now?
What's my biggest fear? Is I caught some charges recently, and I'm afraid to go back to the Twin Towers to detox. I'm afraid to go through that again. It's a very, very scary feeling. I was very hopeless in there. That really, really messed with my head. So, I don't know.
If you had your life to live all over again, what would you have done differently?
Absolutely not a damn thing. Because I know I'm here to follow this path, to help others not make the same decisions I've made, and help them, take a higher path and to have change in their life, or acceptance and willingness, to have a new path. Because I know I can't help somebody if I don't know how sick they are, or where they come from, if I can relate to them with the same path and the same story. This way, I've been there, I've done that, I know what to do to help, and I will apply it to help them. I'm here for a reason. I'm going down this path for a reason, and I wouldn't change it because I know God or my higher power has a purpose for me. It has a purpose for everything that's going on every day of my life.
You can imagine yourself being clean one day and free from all this?
Yes, sir. I wait that day. You know, I had a year of sobriety 3 years ago until me and my ex had a falling out and she wouldn't stay sober. And that was the best year of my life. You know, I have a service animal, a pit bull, that's for my PTSD and anxiety. And she waits me for me to get sober again so that we may be back together again. That always makes me happy.
What is your greatest strength, Nate?
My greatest strength is my responsibility and my willingness, my gratitude. Because at the end of the day, no matter what happens to me, I'm always grateful. And I'm still here and I'm still alive. I might not be in the best situation, the best decisions, but I'm allowed to take another breath and wake up another morning, you know? And
What would you say is the most important lesson you've learned in your life?
Don't accept for what you're worth, you know? Less than what you're worth, you know? Never. You're always worth more than what you think. A ton more. I know I'm worth more than all this, but I gotta go down this path so I can help others, you know? I gotta lead others away from this, you know? I can't let people, my friends, my family, these are my people out here. We're all sick. I must help them, you know? I must help them choose different decisions and have willingness and, you know, acceptance to change, you know? We can't change alone. We can't do this alone. I can't do it alone. You know, how are you gonna do it alone? You know? I want to change. I want to get out of here. I want to go to rehab. I don't know why I don't. I was just in rehab 3 months ago. Hope by the Sea in San Juan Capistrano. I left within a week. I just packed my bags and I left, man. I'm good at running. Like I said, I know how to pack my bags and I know how to run away from my problems, far, far away, you know? And I know how to medicate them with the heroin or fentanyl and some sort of upper to keep me going, you know? Keep the roll going. Because nobody likes it when the show ends, you know?
Have you OD'd?
Yes, I've OD'd 6 times. 2 years ago, I overdosed, had a stroke and a seizure, was paralyzed from my right side down for about 2 months. In MacArthur Park. That really messed me up. And I think I went to rehab about a week later with my dog, and I was leaving within 3 or 4 days in Palm Springs. I went to Michael's house, and I found myself waiting at the door with my bags packed, as usual, nothing new, ready to leave, ready to run away from my problems. Because I'm good at that. I'm good at running away from my problems. I'm good at masking things, you know, hiding it from people. Because I don't want anybody to know I'm sick or, you know, at this point I don't care, you know, what people think. It's all about what I think of myself and what I'm willing to do to help myself. And right now I'm not doing anything to help myself. I'm just letting my life get worse and worse and worse every day. You know, if I don't change, I'm gonna die here. I'm gonna die here, I know that. So.
Nate, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah?
I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you. Appreciate
Eventually,
that.
hopefully you turn the corner.
Yeah?